Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Charles Anderson here. I'm just a guy from Goodwill. Got a really great video game idea, and it's been 2 years since I've last posted. Let's see. I wrapped up Dark Monkeys. Was starting back in on the Tonegod visual editor that I have planned, and yeah, got slightly derailed. Had a critter infestation from the fields. Mice just ran into the house, and they were destroying everything. Couldn't get them, and they got my computer, and more specifically the storage drive where I stored all my project data. So I lost quite a bit of stuff, mainly because it was the backup, and and not much survived. There's some like stuff that survived to online, but yeah, not much in the way of that. And so critters, of course, I've still been working. Oh, by the way, this is my shop. Well, yeah, I repair computers. It doesn't really make a whole bunch of money because honestly, I repair the computer and it stays repaired, and so yeah, a lot of new business, but usually not repeat business. At least probably not until it's time for the next computer, which will be 5 or 6 years down the road. So not really that big of an income. I have been supporting myself, oddly enough, as a radio DJ for a country music station. So that's been a plus. And the other thing that really delayed me from getting back in the saddle was that I got like this really bad, what was it? Infection of the pleura. Basically, I was a human zit, and I had like this big swelling thing coming out, and then they had to stab at me a few times, and so I've got doctor bills, and nothing major was damaged. But the most important thing is I've still got my thinker, and yeah, of course I've never been really that much in shape because I'm a nerd. How much movement is required. That of course I say that, and then there are nerds who actually go out and like work with steel and metals, and they're the engineers or mechanics and stuff like that. So kudos to those guys who are able to pull off all that activity. This is actually like the fourth or fifth time I've lost count. I did some great takes before, but yeah, it's the whole getting everything to where I can record so that it will upload. Right now, I don't know whether it's Bandicam. I use for my recording software Bandicam, and I used to use this Lightworks X64, but it's not working so great for me on this Windows 10. Oh, yeah, Windows 10. This whole thing right here, it looks like a pretty faithful reproduction. Found that, my little logo down there. And of course the webcam new, but yeah, Windows 10, and scraped together some parts because I'm finally beyond basic survival income, so yay. And so now I'm working with Blender and its movie video editing features, so hey, go Blender. All right, so back on to topic, Tonegod. So I log in to doing the whole getting back in the saddle process, and I go down and check where jMonkeyEngine is at. 3.1 stable final. Oh, go guys! Woo! So yeah, earlier this year that happened, and so yeah, kudos on that. And so I'm like, all right, well, let's see. I obviously don't have my copy of Tonegod source anymore. So first thing I do is, because, well, I can't make a Tonegod visual editor without Tonegod. So, I go on here and I go, all right, Tonegod GUI. There we go. Let's see. What is it? Oh, not maintained. All right, maintained copy. Is it? All right, well, let's go to the releases. All right, here we go. Source code. Boom. So, downloaded the source code, extracted the source code, looked at the source code, or, well, the build Gradle. Gradle. I do not know Gradle. Ugh. But I do know source. So, and I know that Tonegod is a very sensibly built library. It only has one dependency that I know of, and that's core. jMonkeyEngine core. So, went over and fired up my jMonkeyEngine, and you'll notice I have a project already here. It's got the good old red exclamation marks of "I ain't gonna work, you can't make me," and that's because I've already run through this project a few times. So I'm just dictating the steps again. So I went and went on ahead, and I knew Tonegod would be a library. So Tonegod GUI, there's my library. And oh, that's filter. Okay, let's go back. See, that's how many times I've been through this. I'm now mentally derping from already done this a few times. Okay. Alright. So we got a library. Here's our library. And I will... let's go grab that source. Source packages. Yay. Oh, I guess I won't need that anymore. Okay, and again we have the exclamation marks of, yeah, I ain't gonna work. Well, one, JDK 1.8, yeah, we need to add core to that. Alright, so we add core, it does this little scanning thing, yay. Oh, we still got something on controls. And found out that there's our red mark. We have interpolate because there is no interpolate for vector2f. So I went and looked in here. Oh, and you'll notice that this looks kind of weird, and that's just because I like reduced tree. See, this is how it usually looks, but yeah, I just like reduced tree. Okay, so back where I was. Math. And vector2f. And so the whole big deal, I'm guessing, is that you were towards the top, weren't ya? Yes, there you are. So I saw interpolate, right? And I saw it, and interpolate is going from one value to another by a certain amount. And so looks like interpolate became interpolate local, just arbitrarily between 3 and 3.1. So guess what? That's going to be the solution. So yay. Now that works, or it should work. Now I don't go over any of the particle stuff in this video, so this was just what I did just to get it rolling. So there, and I can close this class here. Alright, come on. Alright, next one. Color influencer, there's red mark, and interpolate is now interpolate local. Control S. Destination influencer. Probably interpolate local. And interpolate local. And save that one. And go to that mark. And interpolate local and that one. Element emitter. Boy, I click. Yes, there it is. And interpolate local and save that one. And interpolate local on that one. Okay. Oh, save. Okay, so no more exclamation marks of doom. I guess we're ready to, compile it. So just compile it, build it. And we has jar. Okay, so my jar is now in my jMonkey projects folder. Oh, yep, there it is, Tonegod GUI dist. And I has my jar. So, yay. All right, now, of course, you'll notice this one has no more exclamation marks. And that's because there's a step in here that I need to show so that, everything doesn't freak out. See, here's Tonegod. But what I did is one of the steps is, you go in there and Tonegod GUI, it's not automatically part of it, so you have to create the library, and doesn't really matter what I name this one, library. And you just add the folder. So come in here. All right, and so there's the folder. It's, of course, you would probably want to name it Tonegod GUI like I did. And of course, I'm going to cancel because I found out earlier that, once you add one of these generic libraries, just for samples, yeah, you can't get rid of them. They're just, no, not happening. So, I added the Tonegod GUI library. Now, the first time I added it, it came out kind of weird because Tonegod GUI, it does have some shaders in it, right? And with these shaders, it actually showed up as a asset package initially. So I removed it, re-added it, it got corrected. So there we go. All right, so we've got this library added, and now this project right here works. It's kind of like a hello world example. So let's take you over to where I found this, it found the code. There was some errors because of the updates and stuff. So let me move my finger over one bit. Tonegod manual. All right, so right here, GitHub IO. Oh, let's show us, because you come down here and it's like, oh hey, here's the documentation. There's a quick start, and site can't be reached. Okay, so yeah, that's not going to work. But this one can. So I'm pretty sure this is what it was supposed to look like. And they've got some information right here, and we'll just go real quick through the thing. The basic project, basic thing to work with in Tonegod is you make your screen. You add all of your buttons, windows, and all that good stuff to your screen, and then you add your screen to your GUI node. Because it goes, if I remember the rendering pipeline, there's a pre-render node, there's a root node, and then there's a GUI node. And GUI node gets rendered last, so it's always, on top of everything. Great for UIs. And that's pretty much it. And whatever commands you want to give to your buttons. So this thing right here, it's got a couple of things wrong with it, like here, this statement, screen initialize, this has been deprecated, and I'm guessing that's because they moved the initialization into the constructor for screen. Just an assumption, I haven't looked into code yet. And also, for all this, if you work with it, you need two more statements. One, to show the cursor on basic game, because if you run basic game, there's no cursor, and your mouse just directly controls your camera. So those allowances weren't made in this example. So here is this example in jMonkeyEngine 3.1, and this is not it. Oh, shift click, close all my other windows. So I have my library into 3.1, yay, and we've got like a simple little demo thing. So if you go and create a basic game, okay, and your basic game pops up, and you come in here, not libraries, you add Tonegod library like I showed you earlier, And here under source packages, here's your main Java. So a lot of these imports, when you just type in like screen and the screen classes, a lot of these classes, they'll show up. But I'm pausing right here so you can see the full list of imports, like mouse button event, of course vector2f, button adapter window screen, all that good stuff. All right, so here's where we start, making differences. I've got a screen object, or screen object call, and got a good old win count. That's just because it's, I want to say, an enumerator. It's just an integer, but as we create them, we got 0, window 1, window 2, because the function of the sole button is just to make windows. So let's see. Here's the standard startup stuff. Boom. And here's where we create our screen. Here's where you, if you were to just do this, then it would just go to the default style. Okay. Now, this is an explicit request for the default style. Tonegod does come with 2 styles. Both look the same. One is where all the images are broken up, and the other one is in an atlas, which is a sprite map where all the pictures are on one big picture. And nope, that's libraries, because I've got it open. So completely skinnable. It uses XML to show where each path for each of these little controls and tools are, and so then you go inside, and there's 3 main things. Of course, you've got your basic layout, font size, font colors, the lines, the wraps, the paddings. So I count that as one element. 2 is sounds. Some of these items have sounds like buttons. I think there's a whooshy sound, and core common. I know that there was a common folder. Is there a common folder? Anyway, there is a common folder in here somewhere. Framework. Charles, get back on track. So sounds and animation. So there's effects. So those are the 3 big things. And from some of the functions that I saw, hey, you can actually set your cursor on fire, and it's pretty neat stuff that I see that's planned in there. Of course, I have yet to go through the full thing, but I will have to, especially if I'm making a visual editor for it. So this video and the next few videos, it'll be all that stuff. All right, so back to our little hello world example. So we choose the style, and in this case, this is different than the example shown. I just made sure of where it was at and referenced it correctly. So, so we're using stylemap.gui.xml. So with our look prepped and ready, it gets initialized, and then we add the screen object to the GUI node. So it'll be rendered now. Last, great. Just a side note, the subscreen class is usually what's used for, hover panels, little laser panels that you can actually put into a scene. So, yeah. Window. So window, it's an object, it's a little box. Box. No, it's a window. And then I put so I make a window, make a button, and then I have an override. So whenever, for this button, when you let up off of the mouse button on top of it, it will run a method called create new window. That's lower down. Then I set the title of the button to window maker, and the title of the window to make a window, and then I add the button to the window, then I add the window to the screen. And here's 2 magic things that you'll need to do. Input manager, show the mouse cursor so that you can see it while it's on the video game screen, and set drag to rotate so that the camera isn't glommed onto the mouse input at all times. All right, here's create new window, and so it takes a string and it names it window plus win count for the object name for referencing later. So yeah, each of these things you can give an individual name, and so like when you need to affect a certain part of your UI, you can actually reference it by name apparently. And it sets its title to that string. So let's run this thing. And so for those of you who've run basic game, it's just pretty much straight up basic game. There's the basic game in the background, and you can move around. And here's our UI element. Of course, Tonegod has a lot of functionality built in, so you can resize stuff. And unless you, because I don't have clip region set. Hey, look, my button's outside my window. Isn't that cool? Yeah. But here's our button. So I press down and then let up, and it activates the little new window. Oh, hey, here's a new window. I wonder what happens if I press down. Oh, wow, that's magical. Oh, and there's another window. Man. So here's the little Hello World example for the UI. And as you can tell, these do cost triangles because these are quads that are being made. And so they're actually 3D objects, but they're 2D. Just look at them as 2D. There, yeah. All right, so there's our first full example. And thank you for watching. This will let you jump into the pool and where I got my information at. I guess if anybody needs a copy of the library, well, you know how to make it. I mean, well, I just showed you how to make it in the jMonkeyEngine, and I'm pretty sure for Eclipse and the other editors, it would be pretty much the same. It's dependent upon JME Core and JDK 1.8, and then just make sure that one correction's made, and you should be good to go in 3.1 for this latest, if you want to try out Tonegod UI, because it is pretty neat with being able to put your UI elements actually into a 3D scene. So yeah. Is there anything else? Oh, right. Make sure to, if you find the video cool, all that good stuff, you can subscribe if you want. I don't expect it. If the information was great. Glad you enjoyed it. And I'll probably be going over styling Tonegod in the next video, probably. Oh, and I'm also on Patreon. I'm making Idiog. It's just, yeah, if you want, I would definitely appreciate the money, but it's not necessary because I'm going to be doing it for fun. For as long as I Twitch and am going on Idiog, because part of the whole rules that I set for myself is to make these videos as I go, and it's not just for you guys, it's also for me, because I work with stuff and I forget, so it's always great to have a reference to come back to. All right, hey, y'all have a good one. Peace out.